Blobsquatch. Charles Fort, renowned researcher of unusual occurrences, accumulated quite a collection of what he called damned data by the time of his death in 1932. By damned, he meant the rejected, the facts that could not be explained away by mainstream science. Fort paraded this data most notably in his polemic 1919 tome, The Book of the Damned. From flying saucers to teleportation, from stigmata to strange fossils, Fort marched forth against fortresses of allegedly impenetrable truths. Expounding on the intermediate nature of all phenomena, Fort held that everything is in flux, in flight, fluttering along a continuum. He explained, quote, "Red is not positively different from yellow. It is only another degree of whatever vibrancy yellow is a degree of. They merge in orange. So then that if, upon the basis of yellowness and redness, science should attempt to classify all phenomena, including all red things as veritable and excluding all yellow things as false, the demarcation would have to be false and arbitrary, because things colored orange, constituting continuity, would belong on both sides of the attempted borderline." End quote. Correspondingly, despite market ploys to distinctly separate new media from old media as part of a perpetual process of producing obsolescence, residual technologies counter this rhetoric by their mere existence. The abundance of discarded and leftover technologies circulating through second-hand markets suggests a missing link in technocultural evolution. As Bigfoot believer Autumn Williams notes of the ever-enduring hominids, quote, "When you see something like that, it's not really a question of do they exist, but what are they?" End quote. This Casio keyboard is not functioning, or rather, it is malfunctioning when it makes a sound like this. The strange voices, markedly different from its own, coming through its speaker and produced by its own tone banks, and yet these output sonic heralds are not its own. One might explain this situation with a simple gesture conditioned by a culture of structured obsolescence. Just throw the damned thing out. And yet, we hear something. This noise is also a signal. It's not that the keyboard no longer works, because we can still hear it emitting sound. To the extent that one is compelled to grapple with this occurrence, to construct speculative theories as to the nature of that which lies beyond the ken of an instrument's intended function, can be understood as an encounter with blobsquatchery in the expanded field. Or, in broader terms still, meta-fortean phenomena. Circuit bending is a fine example. Discovered by Reed Ghazala in that hallmark cryptozoological year of 1967, circuit bending has revealed an incredible spectrum of meta-fortean phenomena made accessible only through the misuse of electronics. Many circuit benders have reported encounters with the species known as BEASape. Today, meta-fortean researcher Zack Denfeld shares his knowledge of engaging with this mysterious creature.
So this is like pretty much just slowing it down, but it's usually the in-between spaces. Like this is clearly not a sound that Casio made for because it would annoy the hell out of parents. The other cool thing is how much pressure you put on these little knobs controls like how much the sound changes. So you can really feel the sound changing. And what's actually happening is a circuit is being made with your body, and electricity is being sent through your body.
So you've become a bioelectronic audio sapien.
Yes, yeah, you're this part that happens in between the electricity and the sounds.
Meta-fortean phenomena are mental encounters emerging at the interface of malfunction. Malfunctioning technologies are fortified with energy emanating from kernels of interruption. The damnable data produced by these ruptures are filtered through human consciousness and perception, prompting a rapid prototyping of uncertain thought forms. The burgeoning thought forms are implicitly compared against known unknowns within the technocultural imagination. Just short of the speed of thought, this duration of uncertainty operates by momentarily delaying sensory recognition, by suspending disbelief, and then allowing the mind to catch up with its senses again. At one extreme, where the delay is such that the realms are out of phase, the entire thought form will vanish, and the whole incident will be led astray with provisional explanations. Of course, the two realms could alternately remain in phase after the suspension of disbelief, extending and magnifying the depth perception of meta-fortean phenomena. All this occurs in a synesthetic process that is at once strange and familiar. Strange because there's a sort of spectral whirling through neighboring dimensions, but familiar because it evokes sense memories of bygone errors. Meta-fortean research involves learning from one's mistakes. If one is prepared to be mistaken, they can intuitively activate feedback loops, suspending disbelief for longer durations of time and ultimately better understanding the marvels of meta-fortean phenomena. As Charles Fort famously proclaimed, quote, "The fate of all explanation is to close one door only to have another fly wide open," end quote.